It was fight night in Las Vegas, the lights blazing down on the octagon like judgment itself. The crowd roared, drunk on adrenaline and the scent of sweat and ego. Cameras flashed. Commentators screamed. Two men stood under that merciless light. One, the self-proclaimed king of the cage, Chase the Cobra Matthews, a man whose arrogance could fill an entire stadium. And the other, quiet, focused, unmoved by the chaos, Malik Stone Johnson, the underdog, the unknown, the man with nothing to prove but everything to defend. Before we dive into this battle of pride versus patience, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens in the next few minutes will remind you why you should never underestimate anyone. Chase strutted around the ring before the bell even rang, throwing his arms wide to the crowd. He grinned with that sharp, cruel smile that made headlines. They really put him against me? He laughed into the mic. This is supposed to be a fight, not charity work. The audience ate it up. Boos mixed with cheers, the perfect fuel for his ego. Malik didn't flinch. He simply adjusted his gloves, rolled his shoulders, and kept his eyes on Chase's chest, not his face. That's how disciplined fighters do it. You don't get distracted by emotion. You focus on movement. Chase pointed at him mockingly. Come on, big guy. You gonna stand there and pray, or are you gonna fight? Malik didn't respond. Inside, though, something burned. Not anger, purpose. He wasn't just fighting a man tonight. He was fighting years of judgment, whispers behind gym doors, managers who said he didn't have the look, the sponsors who looked past him because of his background, and the fighters who thought humility meant weakness. Chase Matthews embodied every arrogant fighter Malik had ever sparred with. The kind that taunted before they fell. The bell rang. The first 30 seconds were all Chase. Fast jabs, flashy spins, unnecessary showmanship. The crowd screamed every time he landed even a grazing punch. Malik absorbed them, calm as stone. His defense was tight, his breathing steady. Every move Chase made, he studied shoulders, hips, timing, rhythm. He wasn't there to trade punches. He was there to learn his opponent. Come on, champ, you scared to hit back? Chase jeered mid-round, dancing around him. You're slow, man. They should have kept you in the amateurs. A few voices in the crowd yelled back. Let him fight. Show him what you got. But Malik stayed patient. He'd seen fighters like this before, ones who mistake performance for skill. He knew Chase's type. Flashy for 5 minutes, gasping by round 2. When the bell ended the first round, Chase strutted back to his corner, blowing kisses to the cameras. Malik quietly sat down, sipping water, his coach leaning close. Keep reading him, Coach Davis said, his voice low. He's burning energy. You'll have your window soon, Malik nodded. He leaves his right open after every combo. Coach smirked. And when it's time? Malik looked up, his eyes steady. He'll never see it coming. Between rounds, the commentators filled the air. Chase Matthews is looking confident, folks. He's taunting his opponent and controlling the pace, one said. The other countered, maybe, but Malik Johnson looks like he's got a plan. He's not flustered. That's a dangerous kind of calm. Round 2 began. Chase came out hotter, overconfident, swinging wide hooks meant to humiliate, not hurt. Every miss made him angrier. You just gonna block all night? He shouted, landing a glancing jab on Malik's cheek. The crowd roared. Blood. Finally, some blood, but Malik didn't even wipe it. He just stepped forward. And for the first time, Chase's smirk faltered. The silence before violence is always heavy. That moment when the crowd senses something is about to change. Malik's eyes darkened, but not with rage, with resolve. He thought of his late father, a man who taught him that true power I send loud. It's controlled. Let your opponent dig his own hole, his father used to say. You just decide when to bury him. Chase threw another right hook, wild, sloppy, desperate for another highlight reel moment. Malik ducked, countered with a lightning jab to the ribs, then another to the chin. The sound of leather snapping against flesh echoed through the arena. Chase stumbled, and for the first time that night, the crowd gasped instead of cheered. The bell saved him before Malik could follow up. He staggered to his corner, furious, slamming his gloves on the stool. That was luck. He yelled at his trainer. He got lucky, but his trainer wasn't smiling anymore. In the opposite corner, Malik's coach whispered, "He's unraveling. Stay calm. Round 3. Start pressing." Malik nodded again. No smile, no arrogance. Just quiet, unbreakable focus. As the ref called them back, the energy in the arena shifted. The cocky favorite had just been hit, and the underdog wasn't backing down, and that's when the real fight began. The air inside the arena grew heavier. The crowd wasn't sure what they were witnessing anymore. Was this just another fight, or the beginning of something personal? Chase Matthews paced his corner like a caged animal. His chest rose and fell fast, adrenaline twisting his face into something wild. Across the octagon, Malik Stone Johnson sat completely still, calm, composed. Almost too calm, and that calmness burned through Chase's ego like acid. Round 3 started with no handshake, no showmanship. Chase came swinging again, but the rhythm was gone. His combos sloppy, his footwork clumsy. Malik, on the other hand, had found his rhythm sharp, precise, deadly. Every movement had purpose, every breath calculated. The commentators sensed it too. "I don't like the look of this, Mark," one said nervously. "Chase's confidence is fading. You can see it in his stance." The other replied, "Malik Johnson is reading him like a book. This man's patience is unreal." Then came the crowd's chant, low at first, then louder. "Stone, Stone, Stone." Chase's glare hardened. He hated that name. He hated that this nobody was stealing his show. "Stop calling him that," he barked, throwing a desperate kick. Malik blocked, countered, and landed a crisp jab that snapped Chase's head back. The roar of the crowd was deafening. But beneath all the cheers, Malik's mind wasn't entirely in the cage. Between each blow, fragments of his past flashed like lightning, memories he'd buried long ago. He remembered the first time he stepped into a gym in Atlanta, years ago, wearing torn sneakers and a faded hoodie. People laughed at him. Some said he didn't belong. But one man, Coach Davis, saw something no one else did. "You've got something, kid," he'd said. "Not strength. Not speed. Something rarer discipline." It was that same discipline keeping Malik from destroying Chase too soon. He knew if he let his anger take over, he'd lose focus. Meanwhile, in Chase's corner, panic brewed. His trainer whispered harshly, "You're losing control, Chase. You need to settle down, and—" "I don't need advice," Chase snapped. "He's lucky, that's all. I'll end this next round. Watch me." But deep down, Chase wasn't so sure anymore. He could feel the sting of Malik's punches. They weren't just hits. They were statements. Round 4 began. Malik advanced, methodical. Chase threw another spinning kick, his signature, but this time, Malik caught his leg midair. The crowd gasped as Malik twisted and swept him off balance, sending him crashing to the mat. The impact echoed through the arena like a gunshot. For a brief moment, the world slowed. Cameras zoomed in on Chase's face, disbelief, rage, humiliation. Malik stepped back, letting him rise. "Come on," he said quietly. "You wanted a fight. It wasn't arrogance. It was invitation." That single line cut deeper than any punch. Chase lunged forward, wild again, and Malik dodged every blow effortlessly. The crowd could feel the shift. The predator had become prey. As the round ended, Chase stumbled back to his stool. His lip was split, his eyes glassy. For the first time in his career, he felt small. In that silence between rounds, his trainer whispered something he didn't want to hear. "You remember why you fight, Chase?" Chase blinked. "What kind of question is that?" "Because you forgot. You used to fight to honor your brother. Before the fame, before the showmanship, before you started fighting for cameras instead of purpose." Chase's jaw tightened. The trainer continued, "Your brother believed in sportsmanship. He died trying to stop a street fight, remember? That's what you were fighting for. But now? You're just fighting for yourself." The bell rang before Chase could answer. But something in his eyes changed. For the first time that night, doubt replaced arrogance. Across the cage, Malik watched. He didn't know Chase's story, but he recognized that look. The look of a man who just realized he wasn't fighting his opponent anymore. He was fighting himself. The 5th round began, slower, more deliberate. Chase came forward, less flashy this time. He threw solid, honest punches, trying to find rhythm again. Malik met him blow for blow, testing him, feeling the new energy. "You're learning," Malik said between breaths. Chase grunted. "Don't patronize me." "I'm not," Malik replied. "I'm respecting the fighter you're trying to be." That line landed harder than any punch. For the next minute, the two men fought like warriors, not enemies, respect slowly replacing rage. The crowd, sensing this unspoken transformation, grew quieter. Then, it happened. Chase overextended, a single mistake. His right hand swung too far, exposing his jaw for just a split second. Malik's instincts took over. Pop. A right cross, sharp and devastating, landed clean. Chase's head snapped sideways, his body collapsing like a tower of cards. The sound of the impact silenced the world. 10 seconds later, the ref was waving it off. Chase Matthews, the cocky, undefeated, loud-mouthed star, lay unconscious on the canvas. Malik stepped back, breathing heavily. He didn't celebrate. Didn't flex, didn't roar. He simply looked down at his fallen opponent and whispered, "Never underestimate silence." The crowd erupted. Chase's trainer rushed in, helping him wake up. His eyes fluttered open, confusion written across his face. Malik knelt beside him, offering his glove. "Good fight," Malik said. Chase hesitated, then nodded weakly. "You got me clean," Malik smiled faintly. "It wasn't about beating you. It was about teaching you." And for the first time in his career, Chase understood. The moment Chase hit the mat, the entire arena froze. Then came the eruption. Thousands of fans roaring in disbelief, reporters scrambling, camera flashes popping like fireworks. The cocky king had fallen, and the quiet underdog had just rewritten the night's history. Malik didn't bask in the chaos. He simply raised a glove toward the crowd, then toward the sky, a silent tribute to his late father, before walking back to his corner. His coach met him with a proud grin. "You did it, Stone," he said, gripping Malik's shoulders. "You broke the noise without saying a word." But Malik didn't smile. He sat down, breathing slow, eyes fixed on Chase, still on the mat, surrounded by medics. He wasn't gloating. He was remembering every moment of disrespect, every headline calling him forgettable, every promoter who had brushed him off. This wasn't revenge. It was revelation. Minutes later, Chase stood again, woozy but awake. The ref raised Malik's arm, declaring him the winner by knockout. The crowd thundered his name. "Stone! Stone! Stone!" Reporters rushed forward as Malik left the cage. "Malik, how does it feel to defeat Chase Matthews?" one shouted. Malik paused at the tunnel entrance and answered quietly, "It's not about defeat. It's about discipline." Never mistake silence for weakness. The clip went viral overnight. Within hours, it was everywhere: ESPN, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. The video titled "Cocky Fighter Taunts Opponent, Gets Knocked" out in 10 seconds climbed past 10 million views by morning. Memes flooded the internet. Fans dissected every second of the fight, breaking down Malik's patience and precision. He became the symbol of calm power, the embodiment of quiet strength. Chase, meanwhile, woke up in the locker room with an ice pack on his face and silence around him. His trainer sat nearby, scrolling through his phone. "It's trending," he said grimly. "Everyone's talking about it." Chase didn't need to ask what it was. He knew. He stared at his reflection in the mirror, swollen eye, cut lip, bruised ego. "I made myself a joke," he muttered. His trainer sighed. "No, Chase, you made yourself a lesson." For the first time in his career, Chase didn't argue. He sat there, broken in body but strangely clear in mind. All the noise that once fed him, the cheers, the cameras, the ego, felt hollow now. 2 days later, Malik appeared on a talk show. Dressed in a plain hoodie and jeans, he didn't act like a man who had just gone viral. The host smiled. "So, Malik, 10 seconds? That's all it took after all the taunting? What was going through your mind?" Malik leaned forward. "Honestly, I just wanted to show that control beats chaos. Everyone thinks fighting is about power, but it's really about patience. Chase gave me everything he had in anger. I waited, that's all. The host nodded. And what do you say to young fighters watching you now? Malik looked straight into the camera. Stay humble. Let your discipline speak louder than your mouth ever could. That quote exploded across social media. Fans started using it as captions, motivation, and even tattoos. Malik's following doubled overnight. Sponsors called. Gym doors opened. The man who once fought in back alleys now stood as an icon of self-control, but fame never sat easy with him. He still trained in the same small gym with Coach Davis, still cleaned up after sessions, still helped the kids who came in off the streets. One evening, as Malik finished sparring, Coach Davis approached him with a newspaper. You seen this? He said, handing it over. The headline read, Chase Matthews, I deserve that knockout. Fighter seeks redemption. Malik raised an eyebrow. He said that? Coach nodded. Seems like he's changing, wants to meet you, not for a rematch. For respect. Malik hesitated, then shrugged. If it's real, I'll listen. 2 days later, at a quiet gym downtown, the two men met face to face. No cameras, no crowd. Just silence and mutual understanding. Chase extended his hand. You taught me something I couldn't learn in all my years of winning. Malik shook it. What's that? That winning means nothing if your spirit's empty, Chase said softly. You humbled me, man. And I needed it. Malik studied him for a moment. Humility's the hardest fight there is. The two sparred lightly that day, not as rivals, but as students of the same craft, and for the first time both of them smiled. Meanwhile, outside the gym, the world was still buzzing. The media wanted drama, a rematch, a rivalry, a new spectacle. But Malik and Chase didn't care. They'd already fought the fight that mattered, the one inside. Still, Malik knew the storm wasn't over. He'd earned fame, but fame had a price. And deep down, he could feel something shifting, promoters circling, journalists digging, and whispers of a new contender hungry for the same spotlight. Because in the world of MMA, peace never lasts long.